Hello, you're welcome back to Tech Hustlers YouTube channel. This is another tutorial of Python in tree. In this tutorial, I'm going to take you through the Boolean operation or the Boolean operators. So this is the last episode of the basic Python operations. So let's get the ball rolling. So with Boolean operations, what is the meaning of Boolean? Boolean simply represents true or false. So when we talk about Boolean, it simply represents true or false. Either the results will be true or false. Okay, so Booleans are used in conditional or logical operations. So moving on, you'll be doing conditional or logical conditions. Okay, that's when we'll be doing the if else statement and then the while statement. Okay, so all these statements return either true or false using the logics of the Boolean. So let's get a ball rolling. It's with the first operator that I'll be talking about. Operator your friend the equal to, and then the equal to is like this. And idea a say it checks if say two values are the same. Okay, it checks say it be two values the same. So for example, if I want to find out say 3 and 4 are the same, I'll just say print 3 is equal to 3 is equal to 4. So here it will return either say a true and say a false. So let me print it for us to see. So now I say a false because say 3 and 4. Changing this to 3 now, you see say everything true because 3 is equal to 3. Now you can see say I return it true. Okay, let me use a string. So let me say A is equal to A. Now I'll be having true as the answer because A is equal to A. Now let me print. Okay, so once many true because A is equal to A. So this is how you use the equal to operation or the equal to operator. It is used to check whether a value or values are the same. So if they are the same, then it returns true. If they are not the same, it returns false. In Tisana, the equal to operator no working. And then the next operator that we are going to talk about is the not equal to. The not equal to. And with the not equal to, that is how it is. Say now, it's here. The not equal to is this. Okay, you'll be having an exclamation sign and then a 1 equal to sign. Okay, so that is how it works. Now, with the not equal to sign, this is what it does. It is the opposite of the equal to sign. It checks say values are not the same. So if the values are not the same, it means it is true. If the values are the same, it is false. So let's have an example here. Print 3 is not equal to 4. Okay. Print 3 is not equal to 4. Then we're going to say everybody true because 3 is not equal to 4. Now let me run this. I'm going to say I'm true because 3 is not equal to 4. Because any equal to I'm true because of say any equal to. Now if I change this to let's say 4, you will see say it will give me false because they are the same. This one it checks if say they are the same a false. If say they are not the same a true. Now let me run this. Now you could see say I'm a false because of say they are the same. So that is the work of the not equal to sign. Another operator that I'm going to talk about is the AND operator or the AND operation. the end, this is how it is. Just end like this. Okay. So this is what the end statement does. With the end statement, I return it true if both statements given to it is true. Okay. So I return it true if both statements given to it is true. So for example, when you use a layman's example, maybe I'm say if Kofi goes to school. So for example, if Kofi comes to school and he is well dressed, I will give him money. Okay. So here the statement, end statement here. If Kofi comes to school and he is well dressed, okay, and he is well dressed, I will give him money. So the results now, my money day, I will give him money. And if say Kofi ebe school, let's say what dress here. So here, if Kofi comes to school at 1, my taken 1 by honor, or meet the conditions na money na. And then the second one is if he is well dressed, meaning say we meet the second condition. And so we meet these two conditions now, we scan by every man. Sign at the end statement at here. Okay. So over two statements. With the two statements, if those two statements are true, then it means it will return true. So let's try an example. So for example, I will say A is equal to true, and B is equal to true. Okay. Now let me print A and B. Okay. So if I print A and B, the answer we'll be having is what? True. Answer will be true. Answer will be true. But seba kokoye false pair. Answer will be false. Because seba kokoye false. Answer will be false. Answer will be false. Yes, because the two statements are meaty. First statement in true, but second statement in the false. It's the false. But if anything be true there, then means remember true. Because I say we know air false in it, remember false. So with the end statement, I was said the both statements in they true. So that is how the end statement works. In the there might be a condition I'll be able to meet the idea. Amano. Okay. And then here is with mama another statement, another condition. And which will not be this exact true namedasha or another false namedasha. So as we move on in this series of tutorials now, you will be able to understand the statement now. So there will be a statement about a certain variable, and as a even a conditional statement, and you can use now let me give you another example. Okay, so let me say A is equal to 10, and then B is equal to 20. Okay, so now I'll say if A is equal to 10, and then B is equal to 20, print true. Print true. Else print false. Okay. So let me do some little bit explanation here. I'll say A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, and we know variables. Wherever we see A, it means we are referring to this 10. Wherever you see B, we are referring to this 20. Okay, into the statement in here, or see if say A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20. Okay, if A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20, okay, return true or print true, else print false. And then here we have the first statement, A is equal to 10. We have A is equal to 10 and so on. And then the second statement, B is equal to 20. We have B is equal to 20 ampere. It will print what? True. Let me run this. Now you can see say I'm true because of say the two statements in A true. Now let me change this to, let's say, 13. Okay. Now you will see say when we say now you will see say answer now the false. Let me run this. This one say am I a false because of say B is not equal to 13, but B is equal to what? 20. In Sano, am I a false because one of the statements in the end requirement, and I will say the mine answer na true. Okay. The next operator or the next operation that we are going to talk about is the OR operator. The OR operator. The OR operator. So with the OR operator, no, it is simple. And no, it returns true if one of the statements is true. Okay. With the OR operator, no, it returns true if one of the statements is true. So for example, let me say A is equal to true, and then B is equal to false. Okay. Now, first statement is true, second statement is false. So if I print A or B, I'll be having what? True, because one of the statements is true. Statements in a woman, but we true into the true answer. So now let me run. So now you can see say I'm not true because one of these statements is true. Okay, now let me put this into another example. Now let me change this to, let's say, 13 and then 15. Okay. Now, if I say if A is equal to 13 or B is equal to 25, print true. Else false. Print false. Okay. Now I have the statement here. See, if A is equal to 13 or B is equal to 25. Now where A is equal to 13 but B is not equal to 25. But still now we'll be having true because the OR statement true, it will give us a correct answer. Okay. Now answer made true. Answer what has say am I true because one of the statements is true. Okay. So the OR statement so akwa na say bia me say if Kofi comes to school or he dresses well, I will give him money. So the statement na kwa so if so be school me maniska and as say dress here me maniska ni nyina emu bia so emu bia me maniska. That is how the OR statements work. Okay, so now let's move on to another operator, which is the NOT operator. The NOT operator. So with the NOT operator, it returns false if the result is true. It returns false if the result is true. Okay, so now let's continue with it. So this is the NOT operator. This is how we do it. So with the NOT operator, just as I said, may say a return it true if the statement is not true. Okay, if the statement is not true, it returns true. So it returns true if the statement is not true. So with the NOT operator may say it returns false if the statement result is true. Okay, it returns false if the statement results is true. So let me give you an example here. Okay, so I'll say A is true. Okay, then I'll print not A. Okay, not A. So here it will give me true if the statement is false, or it will give me false if the statement what is true. So it is the opposite of what you give it to it, right? If the statement is true, you'll be having false. If the statement is false, you'll be having true. That is the simple form, and I said the simple understanding now. Meeting the actual here. What I say. So I'll say I can even make an example. Say, yeah, if Kofi do not come to school, sorry, if Kofi does not come to school, okay, I will give him money. If Kofi does not come to school, I'll give him money. Okay, and I say if Kofi comes to school, I will not give him money. Say one example now me making. Okay, because me say if Kofi does not come to school, I will give him money. This is why if he comes, I will not give him money. You see, it's the other way around of the other operators, because we know it gives you true, it gives you false when the statement is true, then it gives you true when the statement is false. So now let's print this for us to see. I'll say I'm a false because of the statement is true, because A is true. Okay, so that is the not operator, how it works. That is how it works. Hey!